Hello, how is everybody? I'm sorry that we are delayed a couple of minutes. The internet wasn't working quite right. Anyway, we're here. That says there's volume. Yay! Unlike last week. So, what you couldn't hear me say last week was that it was the first harvest. And there's actually a group here in Indiana that's going to celebrate the feast with drinking and all kinds of things on August 9th because it's literally celebrating the first harvest. And so, hello, I'm Marilee Ann Snyder Nisiak. Sometimes I have Rev in front of my name, sometimes I don't, but I am a reverend. And as I sit here, I'm looking out at the most incredible, beautiful 100-plus-year-old white pine tree that is the diva of the land. And being here is one of the most wonderful harvests I've ever had in my life. And on July 31st was actually the 17th anniversary of when we closed on this place. 1 and 7 is 8, as above, so below. So that's just wonderful. The name of this show is Ancient Wisdom for Now, and it is the name of a trilogy. The first book is the only one that's out right now, and that's Crystals and the 13 Crystal Skulls. The second book I hope to have out at least as an ebook on the winter solstice is called Ancient Wisdom for Now, Prayers and Guided Meditations. And if you go to Facebook, to the to my page, Ancient Wisdom for Now, and sign up, you will receive and you may harvest and manifest for yourself, because Tuesday was the first moon, a guided meditation that will actually be in that book. So that's that. Um, the other thing that I did that I will do now is I wanted to read about Lamas, which is always sometime in the beginning of August. Um, and I always celebrate it on the first. It just makes life much simpler. So it's also called Teltain. It's also called Lugnasa, Lug, and Lamas. And this is from the Essene Book of Days. And this is a community of Jewish people who, in my opinion, are the shamans of the Jewish faith in the Middle East. They're the ones that wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. And it is said that Christ was a part of this community, as was John the Baptist. I don't know for sure. You choose. Um, the Sufis are the shamans of the Muslims, and Rumi was absolutely the best. So, even as the fullness of the sun hung heavy in the summer sky, our ancestors noticed that each succeeding day saw the sun rising later and setting earlier. As an assurance that the sun would retain its power until the harvest was complete, the Celts celebrated a ritual marriage of this day between Lugh, the sun, and Ire, the earth. This cosmic mating of male and female energies was vital to the maintenance of harmony and abundance. We have seen in our time the effects of imbalance of yin and yang. The restoration of this harmony and abundance in our lives and on our planet is a sacred task that each of us must shoulder. The male and female in each of us must learn to love itself, and from that, learn to love the other. on Teltain, or Lammas, or Lugnasad, or Lugh, the Celtic god of light, buried his foster mother, Teletu, beneath the great mound in Ireland. This signifies the withdrawal of the mother goddess into the earth in preparation for the falling seeds that will need her care if they are to germinate in the winter. Did you hear that? Falling seeds. And here in the Midwest, we call autumn fall because all of the leaves fall and the pine cones, and it's really a beautiful, beautiful time of the year. So I certainly hope this is loud enough. Anyway, the uh, the meditation for today, because this is the season all the way until the autumn equinox, is the season of bountiful harvest being gathered continually. Your tomatoes, your zucchini, your the corn, the wheat. The wheat's the first. Um, the green beans, the vegetables. It's continually harvested. In the fall, we get the pumpkins and the potatoes and the squash, the winter squash. So it's a bountiful, abundant season. And we should give thanks. And I hope that each of you that are listening take some time to go outside and bless it and be grateful for it. Gratitude is how we pull things to us. The reading, the meditation that we're going to open with today is this this day lies no, this day brings to me the gift of glorious sun, of warmth, of light, and growth. How mindlessly I go about the day, protected from this nourishment, unconscious of this joyful gift. Surely I will find time this day to take the sun to me, and surely I will find a way to shine my light with love. So the invitation is for you to shine your light in the fullness of who you are. And I know you keep seeing this drum behind me, this one. And that's the very first drum I ever had, and I made that in the spring of 1992. So this drum is 21 and a half years old. So it has come of age. And we will do some journeys about what you have harvested that you're unconscious of. And then we'll journey to how you shine your light and bring the fullness of who you are to the world. Those are our journeys for today. What I want to do now is show you some of the tools that I work with all the time. I only have to walk a few feet to find them, and this is a burning bowl that I made. See the snakes of transformation. And we have fire and water. And we have fire and water in the bowl. And I keep sage in there all the time. And we burn sage. I'm going to find a little tiny piece here. The smoke of the east, cave of the ancestors of the wind and the air. And in the big bowl, we would use feathers to disperse the sage, which cleans. For those of you that eat meat and do Thanksgiving turkeys, sage stuffing was to clean the meat because they had no refrigeration. So Sage cleans the air around you. It cleans you internally if you drink it. Um, so I'm trying to make sure that you can see everything. So the east, the white candle. You don't need the label, do you? The white candle is to hold the energy of your soul together, and it's fire, and it's in the south. And I'm going to light it again so that we can continue on with our ceremony. I'm having a little bit of a challenge here. Anyway, the south is fire. I have water in this jug. Water is the west. It is also the home of the drum and the thunder beings, is in the west. In the north is Mother Earth, and we represent her with crystals. And in the center is ether. Ouch. Ouch. Well, we have a sacred candle here that just doesn't seem to want to continue to stay lit because there's too much wax. Anyway, in the center, we have the crystal. And this one is full of beautiful, I don't know if you can see that, phantoms, messages from the Pleiades. Can you see those? Anyway, the crystals hold the information of the universe and beyond in the quantum field of possibilities. And crystals are neither liquid or solid, and light can be stopped by them. And in the center, I also have two stones from outer space. This one is green. I don't know if you can see that. This is Moldavite, and it only is in Czechoslovakia, and it is part of a meteorite, and it's green. So it's heart energy for me, and a reminder that we have all kinds of people rooting for peace on earth. This is my brand new stone. Can you see the... it's not working too well. See the little turtle in there. Anyway, this is a brand new stone. It's new to earth, and it's called indigo gabbro. And it's not really new to earth. It is 142 million years old. And it's from... let me get the information and let me read it, and we'll do much better that way. The beautiful indigo gabbro formed approximately 140 million years ago as Madagascar moved over the Marian hot spot during the Cretaceous period. This same time frame that flowering plants like the magnolia and water lily came into existence. This was a warm and beautiful time in Earth's history, spanning 80 million years, and existed prior to the large meteor strike that caused the mass extinction of many life forms on this planet, including dinosaurs. So this is the time frame when Madagascar and India were one large landmass and inhabited by star people of early Earth. But you know what? Most indigenous cultures say they're from the stars. And my teacher, Bernardo Pixado, who was a PhD and an anthropologist at the Smithsonian for the rainforest, the Amazon rainforest exhibit, his tribe in Brazil is the Iurawawa, and his indigenous name is Ipupiera, aka Ipu. And he always said they were people of the stars. So indigo gabbro is a stone that vibrates to the frequency of the star people. And they really are here watching over us to help us. And when we connect to it, this frequency of the star people, there is a stream of energy particles flowing through the star nations into our planet Earth and directly into our personal energy fields. This beautiful blue stone, and it is so loving and compassionate, draws our consciousness into the multidimensionality of who we are and where we come from. Yes, we are of the earth, and our bodies are of the earth. And so we actually have 3 layers of soul. We have the soul in our DNA and our ancestors in our physical body. We have the DNA of the of our Akashic records and our soul that anchored into our hearts that keep us connected to above. And then above that, like a mushroom cloud, is the majority of who we are. So, and I work now almost exclusively with the ancestors in the caves because my guidance is that we are all immigrants. Very few people except the Koji and a few tribes in the Amazon and in Southeast Asia, they don't know their roots. They don't know their stories. The Lakota have kept some of theirs alive, but they were always migratory. And being stuck on Rosebud or Pine Ridge, it doesn't allow them to use their ancient wisdom as it was taught then. And so my guidance is that all of the information that we need from our ancestors are in the cave of the wind or the air in the east. The wind moves us. In the cave of the south, of the fire, we're transformed. And right now we're in the energy of the fire and transformation. And that's what summer's about. In the west, the cave of the water, the rivers, the seas, the oceans, the streams. This shapes us. And if you want an example of that, just think about the Grand Canyon and what an incredible marvel the water did, creating such a beautiful, magnificent place. The beauty there and the energy is just amazing, even with all the tourists. And so the water shapes us. And then we go north to the earth. And what I have here are Australian clanking sticks that were used for ceremony. And the wood, of course, is of the earth. The crystals are of the earth, and stones and dirt. But I don't have any dirt here today, but I have clanking sticks. And then in the center, the crystal cave of possibility. We heal ourselves with the earth. The earth heals us. That's when we go inside and relax and de-stress and heal over the winter to get the vision from the quantum field of possibility. This particular crystal is a record keeper crystal, and it has records in it that allow me to access other information if I'm not drumming. So, and my indigo gabbro and this crystal and a Lemurian crystal that goes back with the wisdom of Lemuria, I harvested this weekend and I got 6 skulls. And I'm happy to say that 6 of the skulls came with no name. And in the last 12 hours, 3 of the names have come to me as I have worked with them. And I'm going to show you these magnificent crystal skulls that are new, that are a part of my harvest. This one, I don't know if you can see it. It's hard. This is purple fluorite. It's very deep purple. And her name is Gratitude. Isn't she lovely? This skull is Jade. And I said, I'm working with her and holding her, and what does she want to be called? And she said, Jade. She said it's a very powerful name. Now this is the first skull I picked out on Saturday. This is the back. And I don't know if you can see the hollows. There are hollows in this skull back here, like ocean jasper. And this particular skull is moss agate. And this one, I bought this one first. And it was the largest of the 6 I bought, and the most expensive. So she told me that I knew Mother was part of her name because she is so loving and compassionate. And about an hour before the show started, she told me her name was C-S-E-E, Mother. She wants people to see the Mother, to see the earth, to see the bounty of the earth, the trees and the flowers and all the healing plants. And one of the things that we're going to do in our shows is actually talk about some of the medicinal properties of plants. And my personal preference is not herbs, but therapeutic grade essential oils that actually meet the AW4NOW standards of Europe. That's a whole year of shows in and of itself. So we're going to bring in all the ancient wisdom of healing and drumming and just whatever I'm told to share with you. That's the bottom line, because I actually asked before we do a show. And if you go to Facebook to Ancient Wisdom for Now, that's my page, you will see a picture of the skulls. Now, 3 skulls don't have names, and I'm going to invite you to come up with a name for the orange carnelian skull, the sardonyx skull, which is a combination of carnelian and agate. And the 3rd skull is the large blue sodalite skull. Those 3 have been very quiet and just they're there. It's as if they're watching and observing. It's actually kind of neat. So, so you learned about indigo gabbro today. And I have my little 5x7 cards, just like Dave Letterman, because he and I happen to be the same age. So, and you wonder, how on earth did Marilee get here? Well, I got here because I died when I was 26 in a death experience, had a body full of blood clots and no blood pressure, collapsed right lung, and it was from the pill. Very honestly, so all you ladies out there that are on the pill, please pay attention to pains in your legs and get it checked out. And I died, and I saw heaven, and it's magnificent. And then fast forward through many trainings, many teachings, many teachers. Linda Howe is who I started with in January of 1991. And then she told me to learn basic shamanic journeying from Michael Harner, and I did. And then for shamanism, death, and dying, and soul retrieval, I studied with Sandra Ingerman, and I did the soul retrieval training in Brighton Bush Springs in August of 1997. And I have to tell you, it is one of my most favorite things on earth. I became a Reiki Master Teacher in 1996. And um, it was in 2000 that I met, it was in 1999 that I met Ipu and did a shape-shifting workshop with Ipu and John Perkins and Ipu's wife Klecha in, I think it was West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm not sure. It was down there somewhere near Springer Island. That I do remember. Anyway, um, got the oils in 2001. In 2003, I met my quantum biofeedback machine, which is in fact ancient wisdom. And in 2006, I became internationally certified as a quantum biofeedback practitioner after a lot of classes and a lot of studying. But what I think is kind of interesting about this machine is that it is from Atlantis. And a Native American chief, right before he died, came. He wanted to meet me. He wanted to see this machine. He wanted to experience it. Oh, you like my horns. Anyway, he told me that this was part of their prophecy going back 16,000 years, and that there was a prophecy that a machine like this would be brought forward. And I had the privilege of working with him with the machine, and I asked him not to have a medical procedure because he wouldn't live through it, and he didn't. And so I lost a great teacher that I was so looking forward to sharing time with. So that's how I got here. And then in January, that's my training. That's my, let's see, 15 years worth of training. And much of what I learned from the spirits, from my soul and my ancestors, because in 2007, I was really sick again with cancer in my liver, my lung, and my breast from the radiation. When I had the death experience, they told me I wouldn't live, and they filled my body full of nuclear medicine and took an x-ray 1 inch at a time. So for years, I was like a toxic waste dump. And the machine actually picked it up and started detoxing it. And then I had what is shamanically called a dismemberment and rememberment when I was sick, laying on the living room couch, coughing and coughing and coughing. And because my lungs were so damaged. And after that, I started getting better. And through the whole weeks of my being sick on this couch, I saw the energy of my sister who died from pancreatic cancer in 2005 at the end of the couch. And finally, I had the strength to say, "Why are you here? Are you going to take me home?" She goes, "No, I'm guarding you so that you can do your work for yourself and the entire family, all the way down." So I was not only healing myself, but in healing myself and my DNA, I was healing our family. Um, and I include all of you in our family. Uh, and after I asked that question, she said, "You'll be fine now." And she covered me with a blanket woven of light. And you could see the weaving in and out. Just beautiful. That's why I have on this. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of very sheer and woven. And she put she put something similar, only lighter, brighter. It was all light. It was all liquid lighted love. Amazing. And after that, I was told I should ask to have the world drum come here, and I did. And in the ceremony of asking the spirits, being told by the spirits, I was gifted a buffalo skull. And early in 2002 and 2003, my husband and I had a store, Earth Partners, and I bought a book, The Mystery of the Crystal Skulls, and some people that came regularly said, "Why did you buy this book?" I said, "Because Spirit told me to." I was guided by my soul to buy this book. And they said, "Well, you know that skull lives around here." And I said, "No, I had no idea." But I was told to buy a rose quartz skull for the store. And nobody wanted to buy it except my niece, who wanted it. She still wants it. She wants me to put it in my will, but it's hers. Anyway, and this beautiful rose quartz skull didn't even have a name until after I was guided to write a book on the 13 crystal skulls. And let me tell you, I said, "What?" That was in January of 2011. I had no idea about writing, and they said, "We'll show you. We'll give you each and every step," which is in my book, Ancient Wisdom for Now, how I did that. And then I found a sentence in an email that I don't normally open, saying Christine Closure was going to do a transformational author experience. Well, I knew that all my work was transformational because I've seen the miracles of it. So I took her class. I got the premium package with all the downloads, and there was a writing contest that I didn't win. But she said the stories were so incredible. She was going to do an anthology called Pebbles in the Pond, and I was awarded a chapter in Pebbles in the Pond. And my chapter is called Death and Beyond, Heaven on Earth. And that's where I met. We had a retreat in early March of 2012, and that's where I met Ann White, our producer, and many of the people on her network, and myriads of other people who are so incredibly and wonderfully supportive. So that's that in a nutshell. That's what I've harvested. So let's go on a journey with the goddess drum as we're moving toward the season of the goddess. And I showed you the Australian clanking sticks. This is a frame drum, and it's used globally. And I do mean globally. And I'm going to show you a boron, which is an Irish drum. Our second journey will use the boron. So I would invite you to light a candle, get calm, sit in a chair, your back very, very straight. Both feet on the floor so the energy flows through. You don't want your ankles crossed. And relax. And I am going to try to light this white candle one more time for our souls, because it's very important. The white candle holds the energy of our soul together. And as we journey, we actually access non-ordinary reality. And we can have out-of-body experiences, and do, as we access the shamanic state of consciousness, which is the alpha brainwave. And the alpha brainwave is aligned with the energy of the Schumann wave, which is also called Gaia, which gives us access to all the information, because we are literally aligned with the vibrations where all the information is held. as it's coming to Earth, it comes first to the Schumann wave, or Gaia. So that's a little scientific knowledge for you, and that frequency of the Schumann wave has increased from 7.38 to 7.83. And that's why drumming is so critical, because we raise our vibration. And if we can't raise our vibration and be in alignment with the earth, then we get sick. We have gallbladder problems. We have diabetes problems because the sweetness of our life is gone, or leaving, or waning, or whatever. We just don't feel good. So go be in nature today and allow the energies of the earth to come into your body and raise your frequency, and honor that as a gift you give to yourself as part of your personal harvest. So, are you ready? Put your seatbelts on. We're gonna travel. Are you ready? Okay, that was just to get you warmed up a little bit. Sit back, relax, and imagine a white disc of light 18 inches above your head. It's your switchboard to the universe and beyond. Expand that disc so that the opening is big enough to slide gently over your body, your shoulders, your hips, everything. And as you expand this disc, you'll feel more light coming down around you. And if you look up, you'll see that you are in a column of lighted love from the center of the universe and beyond. And this column of light comes down around you like a waterfall of lighted love, extending itself all the way into the crystalline core of the earth. And this is your quantum field, your electromagnetic field, your aura, whatever you want to call it, but it is only yours, and it only vibrates to your unique frequency, and you're the only one in the universe with that frequency. And now, open the top of your head, your crown chakra, the trap door that's at the top of your head, and let this lighted love pour forth, filling every nook and cranny in your body as it descends into the earth through the chakras at the bottom of your feet, extending beautiful white roots of light into the earth, down to Mother Earth, giving her light that she needs to help her with the falling seeds of the coming autumn. And as she receives the love, the light, she gives you more love. She gives you unconditional acceptance and unconditional love. She loves those warts, the wounds, because they are what make you uniquely you. And as you bring this mixture of lighted love back up into your body, this is your shield of protection. And as you give your lighted love, the world becomes a better place. Now, in this state of relaxation, imagine yourself in a golden, sunlit meadow. I don't know what makes your meadow golden, but I do know that it's golden. And the only thing I do know about your meadow is that there's a path in your meadow. But right now, take some time and notice everything that's in your meadow, because these are all there to help you. They're all alive. And in some way, they are connected to you. Whether it's the grass or the birds and the trees or the four-legged or the creepy crawlers, I don't know, but you do. And don't worry if you can't see it. If you feel it, know it, or hear it. Besides seeing it, you're right on track. You know, nobody got to Carnegie Hall without practice. So if this is your first time, just relax and experience what you experience, because that's how we learn, from experience. And when you're ready, step on your path and follow it to the edge of the forest that surrounds your meadow. And as you step into the forest, take a moment and notice the difference between the sunlit meadow and the forest, and look up the canopy of the trees and see the sunbeams coming through these canopies. Notice what companion animals are with you in the forest. Notice what kind of trees are there, what kind of plants. Again, all of these things are to support you and to raise your vibration. thank the ancestors and retrace your steps back past the wisdom well into the tunnel, through the white mud, into the forest, into your meadow, into your room, into your body. Thank you. And please go share your experience on Ancient Wisdom for Now on Facebook. And I'll pop over there as soon as this show is over and answer any and all questions, because these experiences are so powerful and so important for our soul's growth. That's the only reason we do them. I mean, information, but all of that is expanding our conscious awareness, and it's for our soul's growth. So, because this is not an interactive show yet, I'd like to share some of the things that were harvested in our journey circle. One lady who lost her brother and been through a terrible divorce discovered that she had harvested freedom. She was free to be herself for the first time in her life. And she could teach her children now how to be free and how to be their unique selves. Isn't that just wonderful? And another lady discovered that she was connected to the earth and Native American ways. And she said she felt such peace because she was the mom of the other lady and experienced devastating loss. And now she could have peace. She could have peace in her heart. Another lady harvested clarity. She was clear that her intuition was spot on and that she could absolutely trust herself. So with the clarity came trust. Another lady harvested the information that she was loving in a good way and teaching her daughter how to love in a very good way, so that her daughter didn't have the blueprint to have some of the experiences this woman and her mother had and repeated. I personally, and I honestly will tell you that I was a little bit surprised by the answer. I have harvested security. And that sounds strange because I've worked for myself since 1982. And, but with the circumstances of summer, I know that I am safe and I am secure, and that I can stand in my own sovereignty, in my own column of light, and shine it as brightly as possible, and it's okay. I'm safe. I don't ever have to hide again. I think that's huge. I think that's a huge thing to harvest. And so that's part of why I'm sharing with you on Ancient Wisdom for Now, Creating Calm Network, is because in the 40 years since my death experience was 12/12/1972. So on 12/12/12, it was 40 years. I've had a lot happen. And I've fought the fight. And I've been the pioneer. I was the the first woman at the Krannert School of Business at Purdue University in Lafayette, Indiana. And they made me get my father's written permission. And so here I am now sharing all of this with you with an open, loving heart. So, wow, what a road. I have lots to share with you. So go to Facebook, Ancient Wisdom for Now, and ask your questions. Ask what you want for the next show. We're going to co-create this, and that's the next paradigm, is each person supporting the other in their uniqueness. So it is 3 minutes to the end of this show, and I would like to show you my Tree of Life drum. I love this drum. I painted it at the insistence of Spirit. Now, it is a boron. It's got a wooden back. And it has a wooden mallet. And that's one of the ways that they sent people to war. You can, but I still like to play with my little leather mallet. And so now it's time for a blessing. But before the blessing, I want you to take a moment to experience your feelings around what happened today. How did it make you feel? Did it empower you? Write all of that down and start a journal of our journey together. And you will see your growth and how your perceptions change. And the blessing is, the warmth of this day has filled me, and how natural it is to allow this warmth to radiate back into the world. I smile at you, and I really do. And you are no stranger to my heart. I gaze at my own reflection in the eyes of the other, and there is no other, only our shared divinity, and the boundaries disappear. There are no countries. There are no races. There are humans. And all of our brothers and sisters that are furry and thinned and scaled and winged ones and the standing ones, the ancestors and the trees. We're all related. Habatakuyasin, as the Lakota say. And in closing, in the Inca language, I say to you, Shungo, my heart to your heart to my heart, our hearts to the heart of the Mother, and our hearts to the heart of the universe. Shungo! So for more information, you can go to MarileeASnyder.com, Facebook, Ancient Wisdom for Now, or Marilee A. Snyder Nisiak, and I will see you in 1 week, 12 o'clock noon, high noon, on August the 15th, and that's Central Daylight Time. In London, that's 6 p.m. And on the West Coast, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So I truly love each and every one of you. My heart to your heart.